Good day and welcome. I'm Timotab, and today I'm going to solve Dutch Flatmates 10 or 11 by Marty Sears. Uh, if you would like to try solving this puzzle for yourself, it'll be the first link in the description. Let's have a look at the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to place the digits from 1 to 9 in every row, every column, out that cell, there we go, and every 3 by 3 box. Um, Fives live in Dutch flats. Every 5 in the grid must have a 1 directly above it or a 9 directly below it. It may have both, but it doesn't need to have both. Okay, so if there were a 5 here, for example, then um, either that is a 1 or that is a 9, or it could actually be both, like that. Okay, 10 or 11, adjacent cells along a colored line sum to 10 or 11. So those two cells could sum to 10 or 11. Those two cells could sum to 10 or 11. Those two cells could sum to 10 or 11, or will sum to 10 or 11, and so on. And that's it. I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. All right, I think this line here is what we want to start with. So all of the digits on this line see each other by Sudoku. So that's going to be instructive, I think. So um, if, right, if these two digits sum to 10, these two have to sum to 11, because if they both summed to 10, then once I remove, yeah, if these two digits sum to 10, then once I remove that digit and add in this digit, this would have to have the same value as that in order for it to continue to sum to 10. Likewise for summing to 11. So it's going to alternate 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11, 10. So, or it's starting at 11. So 11, 11, 11, 11, and that would be 1 left over, or 10. There's something going on here. Hang on. All right. That is one possible coloring. And then, oh, let's put that one orange again. Uh, okay. So, right. What is going on here? All right. So either the set, right. If that's 10, the blue, then the purple is 11, and then the yellow is 10, then the gray is 11, the red is 10, green is 11, orange is 10, pink is 11. Or it would be the other way around. But if that's 10, 10, 10, and 10, then that would be 5. But if it's the 10 the other way, so 5 is in one of those two. And then 11, 11, 11, 11 leaves 1. So, and then it would be the other way around. So that's actually a 1-5 pair. Okay. Hang on a minute. 10, 10. That's 10, 10, 10, 10. Hang on. 10, 10, 10, 10. That leaves 5. Yes, and that makes sense. So, okay. So let us consider if that's a 5, that's when this set was 10. So this would have to go 6. Yes, so then this would be 10, that would make that 4. That would be 11, which would make that 7. That would be 10, which would make that 3. That would be 11, which would make that 8. Oh, not that one. That would be 10, making 2. Oh, that would be 11, making that 9. And then that would be 10. So I'm going to get the reverse of that. So 9 in there, 2 there. So 1, 9, 9 and 2 makes 11. 2 and 8 makes 10. 8 and 3 makes 11. That's a definite 3. 3 and 7 makes 10. 7 and 4 makes 11. 4 and 6 makes 10. And 6 and 5 makes 9. Sorry, makes 11. Okay, so um, okay, so how does that help? Now, I will say for these some of these other lines, we do get there's an awful lot of symmetry on this puzzle. In fact, is it completely symmetrical by rotation? I think so. Hmm. Okay. So for here, if that's 10, that has to be 11, but that could be 11 because that those digits can repeat. So that's something to think about. Um, so that digit is clearly not 9. So if this is the 5 end, that has to be a 1. If this is the 5 end, that has to be a 9. Now that's interesting because if that is a 1, I can't make 11, but it'd have to be 10, and that'd have to be a 9, but I've got a 6, 9 pair in this column. So that is not a 1. So that must be a 9, which makes that the 5. That's nice. So I can now fill in 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, 2, 9, and 1. Okay. And now I can remove all that colouring. I think that has done its job. So, um, so this adds to 10 or 11, making that a 1 or a 2. This adds to 10 or 11, making that a 1 or a 2. This adds to 10 or 11. If it's 9 plus 1 is 10, 9 plus 2 is 11, and 8 plus 2 is 10, but it can't be 8 because of that 8 in the row. That is a definite 9, and then that is a 1 or a 2. So when adding up to 10 or 11, I have to have at least one digit that is at least 5, and the second digit, yeah, so I've got at least a digit, always got at least one digit that is at least 5. Right. I know what I mean. In every pair, one of the digits is 5 or more in order to be able to reach the 10 or 11. So I have to have a 5 or a 6 in here. I can't go 5, 5. Um, that's got to be from 4, 5, and 6. So I've either got 5 and 6 to make 11, or I've got 4 and 6. There's definitely a 6 on here. So, because I've got 7, 8, and 9 in the row already. So if this were 6, 5, that would be 11. That would have to be 5 to be 10. So it's not 6, 5. If this was 6, 4, making 10, this would be uh, a 7. It could be. And that's if 6 were here. Right, it can't be 6, 5, because that would have to be a 5. Or 6. Right. 6, 4 would make that 7. Um, if this was 6, I'd have a 5, 4 pair on either side. So we've either got 6, 6, 4, 7. Hang on, let's 6, 4, 7, or we have a 6 here and 4, 5 pair on either side. So that's the options for that. So if this were a 4, ah, so if this were a 5, that would have to be a 1 because it couldn't have a 9 below it. If this were a 5, that would have to have a 9 below it because it couldn't have a 1 there. But I can't go 5, 5 because I can't have a 1 above it or a 9 below it. So if that were a 5, that would have to be a 6. If it were 4, it would have to be a 6 because it can't be a 7. So 5 or 4 would make that a 6. 7 would make that 3 or 4, but it can't be a 4 because of that. So that is 6 or 3. Okay. Hmm. Can I think about 5's moment? Let me finish this line off for now. So 3 plus 7 or 8 would make the 10 or 11, and 6 plus 4 or 5 would make the 10 or 11, and it could be a 5 because there's a 9 below it. Okay, So, where does 5 go in this box? Can't go there because, right, so in this box I cannot have a 9 below the 5. So I'm going to have a 1 above it. And I could have a 5 here, or here, or here. Can't have a 5 in this column because the 1 that needs to be above it can't go there. So 5 is in one of those three, meaning that a 1 is in one of those three. Okay. Well, that could go 5, 5. That's that's 5, then that is 6. If that's 5, then that must be 6. And then that would have to be 4. Okay, that's not 4. Means that's not a 1. Yeah, if 5 were here, I'd have to go 6 to make 11. Couldn't go back to 5, so I'd have to go to 4, but that 4 blocks it. Okay, that's reasonable. Ah, if that's 5, then that has to be won by Dutch flatmates, and then that has to be a 10 because I can't do a 9 because the nine's there. So that's not the 5. That's a 5. That's a 1. That's a 6. That eliminates 5 from here. And so now we've either got 5 with 1 above, or we've got 5 there with 9 below, which is what we must have. Okay, and then this is a 5 or a 6. That's really nice. I like this puzzle. Um, okay, I feel like, so we've got 2, 8, 3, and 6. 2, 8, 3, and 6. So what of these can make 11? And it looks like it's going to be either 8 and 2 or 8 and 3. It looks like the only way. In fact, of course, there's no 6 down here. There we go. That's a 6. So that has to be 4. That is now 4 or 5. If that's 4, so this has to be a 6. And then that's a 4, 5 pair there. Okay. If this is 8, then that has to be a 2, 3 pair, but then that means that has no fill. That is not 8. This is 8. Um, 8, 2, that would have to be a 9. So actually, that's going to be a 3. That makes that a 7. That's a 2. And we're left with a 4 there. That can't be a 6, so that is a 7. 8, that has to be a 3 because it can't be a 2. That is a 7 or an 8. Make 10 or 11. And then 7 would require 3 or 4. 8 would require 2 or 3. Okay, that's that line essentially done. Okay, yeah, this is a fun puzzle. I like this. Um, so that has to be a one or a two, but it can't be one because of the column. That means that this digit is an eight. That has to be three because it can't be a two. That has to be seven to make 10. That's the one for the box. This has to be three because it can't be a four. That is a seven or an eight. And then this is a two or a four, but the two in the row means that it is a four. If that's a four, that makes that seven. Okay. All right. If that's a five, that would have to be a one because I can't get a nine below it. And it can't be a one. So that's a four. That's a five. This has to either have a one above, which it can't, or a nine below. So that's the nine below. Where does the four go in this row? It must go right here. That makes that a one or a two. Okay. So where does the five go in this box? It can't go there by Sudoku. It can't go there because there's digits filling those spots. It must go in one of those three. For it to go here, it has to have a one above, which it cannot. It can't have a one above there. Can't have a one above there. It must need a nine below it, which has to be here. So that's a five. Okay. So we now need a five in this column. That can't be a five because there's one in the row. Those can't be fives because there's one in the box. So it has to be here or here. Um, if that's five, that has to be a nine below it because that can't be a one. And if that's five, that has to be a one above it. So that is either one or nine, depending on where the five is. That's nice. Okay. So that means there is a five in one of these two cells. If that's five, there could be a one above or a nine below. If that's five, there would have to be a one above because I can't get a nine below. Okay. All right. Is there something I can do with, okay, if that's five, I need a one above or a nine below. What have we got going on here? Uh, that's not one, two, could be three. Let me just grab a drink. It can't be four, five, six. It could be seven or eight. If that's three, then that would be seven, which it can't be, or eight. that is 7, then that's 3 or 4. It can't do that. And if that's 8, then that would have to be a 2. One moment, I'm going to have to cough. Okay. Right, where was I? Yes, if that's 3, that has to be 8. If that's 8, that has to be 2. Okay. Let me see if I can see something similar down here. It can't be 1, 2. It could be 3. It can't be 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9. So that's 3 or 8. If that's 8, that has to be 2 or 3, and it can't be. So that is a 3. So that has to be, it can't be a 7, so that has to be an 8. That makes that a 7, which makes this 4. Um, all right. Now it's just Sudoku and Dutch flatmates. Okay. Um, where's the place to look now? All right, I've got 3 digits left in this row, which are 5, 6, and 4. That's just that can't be a 4. That can't be a 4. So that's a 4, and that's now 5 or 6. Okay, I don't see anything obviously wrong with. Okay, that's 6 makes that a 5. That was useful to spot. So we either have a 9 here or a 1 here. And in this column, 5 has to be here or here. Nice. So if the 5 is here, then that's a 1. And if the 5 is here, then that's a 9. So that's a 1, 9. That gives us a 1, 9 pair in the row. That leaves 2 and 3 in the row, which we can resolve. That's 2 and that's 3. Um, I can place a 4 up there by Sudoku. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that's the last 4. 6 is one of those two is a 6. I don't think there's anything obvious. 7s. Place a 7 there, which places a 7 into one of those two. And we have a 7 in one of those two. Ah, this, I'm missing 6, 7, and 8 from this box. The only place for 8 is there, which displaces a 6. So that's where the 6 goes. That's the 7. That's not a 7. And that is. Right, 3 can't go in this row, so that's the only place left for the 3, which makes that an 8. So that gives us 1, 2, and 8. So that's the 8. That's a 1 or a 2. That gives me a 1, 2 pair, making this a 9. So that would be the 9. This has to be the 5 for the flatmate. That's a 6, 1, and 5. And I think that, here we go. This 5 up here with the 7 above, forces a 9 there for the Dutch flatmate. That gives me a 1 in here. And then I need an 8 and a 6, which I can place. And then in this box, I need a 2 and a 9, which I can place. And that resolves the 1 and the 2 here, and the 1 and the 2 over here. That makes that a 3 as the last digit in the column. That means that 5 goes there with a 1 above it for its Dutch flatmate. 2 for the column. So I want 6, 8, and 9. So that's the 8, 6, and 9. And finishing off, that is a 1. That is a 6. And that is 2. Ah, I do like this puzzle. That was a lot of fun. Some good things to think about, and yeah, the very nice interactions with those lines and the Dutch flatmates. I think that's the first Dutch flatmates puzzle that I have done. If you're wondering why it's called Dutch flatmates, is because it's like after the Dutch whispers line where adjacent digits have to be at least 5 apart. Well, so that means that a 5 has to be um, on a Dutch whispers lines adjacent to a 1 or a 9. So in this, it's kind of taking that metaphor and saying, okay, if there's a 5 in a flat, then above it, there would have to be a 1 or a 9 below it. Yeah, but it's an interesting rule that I've seen a few puzzles with, and but this is the first one I've done. Thank you very much, Marty Sears, for creating this puzzle. Um, I really enjoyed it, and I hoped that you enjoyed my solve of it. If you did, please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.